we go into SanDisk, I'm going to go into Affirm. This is one of my top setups that I like. Affirm is one of those buy now, pay later kind of stocks. Look at what price action did. So on the 4th of April, it had this really, really good support trend line. Now, finally it broke, started getting a little bit of sell-off, and then all of a sudden it had earnings. It did collapse, but then on Friday had a nice little bid. When price action gets back up into resistance, it should have some selling pressure. Think about this. If you were in this trade and you started to go long at this upsloping trend line, because this is the third hit, psychologically, it seems as if this is a great setup. Then all of a sudden it gets pounded and then continues to shop sideways, drops even more. Let's see what this potential downside. You are out of the money, 15% on Affirm. And then it gets back up to this resistance level at $77.64. Because you are in so much pain, you're likely to start exiting your position. Now, there's also people who got in this group right here. Price action ended up selling off, closed below this upsloping trend line. Once price gets up to $81.42, that is where it's going to be a lot of selling pressure. My trade today, if Affirm can be pushing up, $81.42 is going to be your first level of resistance. Now, if it pushes up through that, it could make its way all the way back up to the scene of the crime, which is a retracement to this upsloping trend line, which would likely be probably this gap fill right here, right around $92.36. That's not going to happen today. So today we're looking at $81.42. Now on a 15-minute closing basis, it closes above that level. That would be a stop out, but this would be like a 1/10 or a 1/20th of my position, and look for a 3 to 4% pullback. Look at what's going on with the RSI. The RSI got below the 50 briefly on a strong momentum stock. Once price action gets up to $206, I'm going to label this for you. My shortable level is $206.84. I don't think it's going to get there today, but this is the first shortable level that I have for Nvidia, confirmed below this low pivot. So this was a confirmation of this broken head and shoulders pattern for Rigetti. If price action gets back up to the scene of the crime, which is this broken neckline, this is your shortable level. And the nice thing about an upsloping trend line and a retrace to the scene of the crime is you get the opportunity to stop out on a daily closing basis above the neckline on a stock and minimize your risk. Now, you can maximize the amount of profit by taking the tip of the apex of the head down to the neckline and taking that exact same measurement from the broken trend line. And so you have a potential downside for Rigetti of $11.07 with minimal risk if you get in around $38 or $40, depending on when Rigetti gets back to this broken upsloping trend line. If it does get back into that level, then what I'm going to do is I'm going to take a short at $48.01. Rigetti is extremely volatile, so I would definitely be closing out this trade on a daily closing basis with a potential short at $48.01. Most people would look at 245 or even 250 because that's a whole round number. We're used to these quarter round numbers, so 225 or even 250 for your next psychological level. So we want to be able to set our entry levels at around 250 to take advantage of those people who are taking profits and ride that trade down as well. I had mentioned this yesterday or on Friday. The RSI is starting to uptick. So we're starting to get some positive RSI divergence on FI. I said the max downside for me would be $56.14. It was trading right around $60.30 or $60.33. But look at this. You've already got a 5 to 6% bounce from that level. So overall, I still like the chart pattern of FI. What's going to happen is the RSI is going to head all the way back around the 30, get a little bit of rejection, probably around the $70 level. So I would remove about half of my position on this trade right in that area, and then add back if it got back to my break even, and then ride the rest of it. If Fiserv can continue its push higher, it's going to $118 and could even go as high as $120. Thanks for enjoying this next iteration of my live show. Hopefully you're going to get a lot more out of this. I'm done with the internal, the intraday RSI. We're just going to go into the meat and potatoes, the bread and butter that you guys want. And then, yeah, we'll go over a couple different charts for you guys. Gareth Soloway is going to be going live. My training game plan. He's going to talk about the wild whips that happened on Friday. Key technical levels for you guys to look for today in my training game plan. You don't want to miss that.